In this tutorial I'm going to introduce you to some of the equipment that you'll need on your survey dive. The first thing is the underwater survey form. Now you can download the survey form for your particular type of survey from the website. Of course, when you print that out, that's going to be in a paper form, and that's not going to be suitable for underwater work. There's two options you can use here. One of it is to use a plasticized photocopied paper. So Xerox make this. It's a non-tearable paper which is fully waterproof, so you could photocopy the underwater form onto this plasticized paper. From there you'll need to attach the form onto a dive slate. So this is a dive slate that I've made up from a chopping board, and as you can see we've attached a piece of string here and a pencil, and this diver has ensured that they've got two pencils, one of them being a mechanical pencil which is pretty useful for that underwater work. In terms of attaching your form to the dive slate, you can see what we've done here is just used 4 elastic bands situated like so, so that keeps the survey form in place during the dive. Another method you might want to consider is just using an ordinary clipboard, but again you'd want some elastic bands across here to make sure that form doesn't float off underwater. If you haven't got access to the plasticized paper, then what you'll need to do is design your own survey form on your own underwater slate. So you can transfer the information from the form onto your own slate, and in doing so you can personalize the process as well. So this is just a small slate here that you could use, and again, depending on the survey and how much information you're going to be collecting, you could go for a slate something like this. Okay, another piece of equipment is the tape measure. Now again, depending on the survey, you might be doing 25 metre or 45 metre transects. So this is a 30 metre tape measure and reel. You can purchase this from hardware stores, around $20. This is the 50 metre reel, so it's only slightly bigger than the 30 metre reel. Again, about $25. And what we've done here is we've attached just a cheap carabiner, and that'll allow you to attach the tape measure to the anchor line or to the bottom of the surface marker buoy for you to begin your survey dives. And simply by pulling on the tape measure, away you go for your transect. Another piece of equipment for when you're doing the belt transects, you'll have your tape measure on the bottom, and then you can have your plastic pole here. So this is basically a 25mm pressure piping from Marley, and it's nice and sturdy, and this is just 1 metre in length for doing a 1 metre belt transect. You might have your buddy on the other side, so you've now got a transect, a belt transect of 2 metres in width. And of course you can cut this piping to any width that you like. Again, that will depend on the type of survey that you're doing. In terms of working with quadrats, you can see here we've basically got that pressure pipe attached to make a quadrat using the corners here. This is very simple to use and to manoeuvre underwater as well. Plastic piping sinks rather than floats, so you can put it down to one side while you're working underwater. And as you can see on this pipe, what we've done is we've marked 5 centimetre intervals, so we could use this pipe for measuring the height of Aclonia stems, the stipes of Aclonia. So you can see we can get the pipe to double up as a measuring device, as a guide for us on our belt transect, and then, if we're so doing, in our survey, measuring the height of stipes. Perhaps a final thing to point out, some of the surveys will require you to accurately measure your depth at certain intervals along the tape measure, along your transect. So having a dive computer and having that computer just on the bottom of the seabed to get an accurate measurement of depth is also very useful.